FA should be giving Frank Lampard a little tap on the bum. Welcome to the channel. Frank Lampard is quite comfortably one of the best England managers out there at the minute, and I would want nothing more than after Tuchel has won us 2026 World Cup than for Frank Lampard to be the man to take us forward, and I think he will be excellent at that job. He is such a good manager. Obviously, he's been an incredible success at Coventry so far, and that comes from end of last season as well, not just this one. When he come in and took over from Mark Robins, who'd done a very good job at Coventry for a number of years, but sometimes a change is needed, and I think that was the case at Cov. He come into a team that was struggling and got him into playoffs. Yes, they lost to a side in Sunderland that eventually got promoted and is now sat in European places in Premier League, so it's not the worst loss of all time, but I think Lampard is clearly a good gaffer and he's showing it this season in Championship, and this is probably what he needed. He went into two clubs in Chelsea and Everton in no-win situations. I think a lot of people like to look at the Ever one especially and think, well, he never really did anything there. This is not the same Everton that Moyes has got now with Grealish and Dewsbury Hall and Njai that Frank Lampard had with Dwight McNeil and these boys starting every week. How he even kept that up is a success in itself. I think he's been a success everywhere, truly. I think it went into a Chelsea job, brought a load of young'uns through because they had a transfer embargo at time that probably weren't good enough in Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount at time and some other boys that he's brought through and got huge sales for as well, by the way. So we helped with profit and sustainability if you want to go down that route. I think he did well at Chelsea. He did well at Everton to keep him up year after year. And I think he did probably what were expected at Derby, where, yes, he had Tomori and Mount at time in Championship, but again, they weren't what they are now then. He did well to probably slide a brown envelope under the table to Chelsea and get some mint loans in. But I still don't think it were a given that Derby should have got to a playoff final like they did, especially beating Bielsa's Leeds that is widely regarded as one of the best Championship sides ever. Lampard is very, very good. And trying to think of any English manager that's better than him, what you got, like Carrick, Edwards, Potter? Jesus. I think he's undoubtedly better than Southgate. I would put great money on the fact that I think Lampard would take us further with England than Southgate did. I would put top dollar on that. I think looking at Dyche and Eddie Howe as two managers that are English that are better than him. But I think the long-term path for a manager after Tuchel is done is probably going to be an Englishman, I think, and someone who excels in man management and handling humongous egos and some of the best players in relation to other teams around him in your competition. I think Frank Lampard is exactly what England needs. I'm just looking at Championship table now. Obviously, Coventry are top by 10 points, but they've probably got one of the best squads in division. I think that's fair to say. Not that it happens every year where best teams go up, and they definitely aren't 10 points clear after 18 games, but 50 goals scored in 18 games, second best defensive record, 43 points, is on for well over 100. What's not to like about this so far? I don't think he overcomplicates football as well. I don't think you need to when you've got some of the best players. Again, something that England have got, definitely. Whatever your stance is. If you're a Scott typing now, just stop. I think he very clearly excels at the man management side of football, Frank Lampard. And when I look at someone like Jack Radoni, who were easily Coventry's best player last season, he got 10 goals, 12 assists. Easily the best player. He's been out injured all season up until like last couple of weeks. Since I think he's been back like 2 games, maybe 2.5 games he's played so far. And they're still top by miles without him. I look at two players. The best example of this, I look at two players that Coventry have got this season in Top and Liam Kitchen, right? Two players that were all right. They obviously were major players in Coventry games at playoffs, semi-finals, and lose to Sunderland, yes. But I think, and I don't lie to me now, if you're a Coventry fan watching this, I think this summer they would have come into it thinking, what do we really need to do? What do we need to change if we are to take that next step and get promoted to the Premier League? I think they would have looked at changing probably then 2 players from the starting 11. And I'm now looking at Top, who's one of the top goal scorers in the league from Middle at Park, and Liam Kitchen, who's an absolute mountain. These are two, they're not only two of the best players in Coventry's team, but they're two of the best players in division. I think Lampard is an absolute genius at stripping football back and making it very simple. Coventry scored 50 goals. I know I've just said that, but 50 goals. And they're not just from one thing. It's not like, for example, West Brom off the top of my head, another club that's got a very good squad that last season especially could only score one way, and it from a winger, putting it on a plate for Josh Maguire at middle of the box, and that were it. They had one goal scorer, more or less, and that were it, West Brom, aside with a very good squad. Coventry, the amount of goals that they've got from every area at pitch is scary. Out of current top 10 goal scorers in Championship, Coventry have got 4. They've got 4 of the top 10. You've got Ellis Sims on 7, who's a striker. Victor Torp on 7, who's a midfielder. Hadji Wright, who's probably a striker as well, I guess you could say. All plays out wide on 8. and top scorer in division at minute, Brandon Thomas Asante, who we got from West Brom for about £2 million because he weren't rated at West Brom. He's on 10. Again, primarily a winger, really. Loads of different areas of scoring goals. Right? That's a top 10 in division. You can score so many different ways. If they need to run down line and put a cross in, they can. I've seen games, I think against Sunderland actually, they might have put 60 crosses in. So they can put crosses in if they need to and play old school football. They're scoring from edge at box, boatloads of goals. They're scoring cutbacks. They score so many different variations of goals that no other team in Championship is even getting close to at minute. And again, going back to it, I think Lampard is the absolute perfect man for knockout football with big egos and big players with the competition that they're playing against. Coventry have got, I don't think they have got best squad. I think Ipswich have got best squad in Championship. But Coventry are up there, definitely. They win constantly, all the time. All they do is win, home and away, constantly. I think with England, you're probably looking at the same thing. We've probably not got best squad. You're probably looking at someone like France, but we're not far off. And I think he could definitely manage that level of player. I really do. I think we saw it with Chelsea anyway, to an extent. They didn't have a lot of huge names at times. They were still obviously a very good team in Premier League, but nobody expected them to anything. Nobody expected them to challenge for Champions League football, really, with that team that Lampard brought through. I just love what he's about, man. I really, really do. And now I'll reference off the top of my head 2 games for Coventry that shows how much he can change and adapt, just like that, game to game. 2 games in a row, they went to Millwall away and Sheff Wednesday away, and they won 5-0 and 4-0. Now, if anybody knows all about Championship, if you go to Millwall and score 4 goals, you must have sacrificed your firstborn, because no one is going to Millwall and scoring that many goals. You could be Barcelona, you are not scoring 4 goals at Den. But what Millwall are going to get, and I'll tell you what, I could pluck Stoke out recently as well. I'll do that in a minute. But Millwall away is going to be a very tough game, very physical centre-backs, very physical team in general. The average height are probably about 8'9". You're playing land at giants that are going to stand on you, elbow you. Anything you want, baby, you'll get it down at Den. So can you break someone like Millwall open like that? Can you play through them? Probably not. So you're going to put crosses into the box. And a lot of the goals were from someone like that. 4-0 away at Den. Week after, you go to Sheff Wednesday away, a completely hopeless side, nothing to play for, going down as worst Championship side ever easily. 5-0 win against a side that A, is hopeless, but B, fearless, more importantly, because Wednesday have got nothing to lose. So I feel like it's an opportunity for some of them players to make a name for themselves and get a move for when they get relegated. Not that any of them are going to, because they're all wang. But after you've come up back a 4-0, and then you go to Sheffield Wednesday away, or a basket case, and everybody expects to win, and then win 5-0, because that is a proper banana skin and all. When you come off for a big, heavy win and you go to a game where you should win heavily, game after, that's a big banana skin for a lot of teams. Big wins. The Stoke one, going away to Stoke a couple of weeks ago, Coventry did. Stoke are a very good side, by the way, in Championship. Again, if you're not knowing a great deal, then Stoke are a playoff side, and if they don't finish in playoffs, I'll be very surprised. Best defensive team by a mile. That were a proper 0-0. A certified ball draw, if I've ever seen it. And then very late on in game, it gives up license to start shooting from wherever they want, and Mason Clark scores like a scissor kick with 5 minutes left. He's got the players, he's got the talent pool, and he just lets them do what they do. And I think someone like that, with the way football's going, obtuse and stubborn modern managers can be, that get much better jobs, no disrespect here, that get much better, bigger jobs than Coventry, with absolutely nothing to back it up. Managers that come into a job thinking, this is the way to play, I'm going to do it, and that's that. And ultimately failures. Lampard can adapt and adjust and score 50 goals in 18 games because of it and win every single game, more or less every week. He is such a good manager, and I just hope people start taking him more seriously. I think they will once Coventry go down as maybe one of the best Championship sides ever, points tally-wise. I think they'll want league in April. Like, I'm not even just saying promotion. I think they'll have lifted crown probably middle of April. Nobody's even close to him. But take this guy seriously. I think it's so easy to just look at him, put him in clump with Gerrard and who else? Rooney, other managers that were in part at Golden Generation that haven't really done anything. Lampard he does not deserve to be put in with them. As players, yeah. As a manager, he is so much better than anybody that's come from that generation. It is not even funny. Someone who can adapt it's unique in its own way anyway, now that there's not many that'll do it. But someone who can go into 4 teams with no experience really, went into Derby and got into playoffs. They went to Chelsea and got in Champions League football. They went to Everton and kept him up year after year. And he's going into Coventry now and he's going to win league at first time we're asking when coming to a side that were like bottom 6, got him into playoffs, and now he's going to win league. If you put that on any fancy name called Gracia, if you were called Franchino Lampacino, everybody would be wanking themselves into oblivion, thinking this is the best manager to ever grace this planet. But because everybody clumps them into the same group as Rooney and Gerrard, well, these all played at the same time, so they're all the same sort of manager. Have you got these stuck in your head or what? He's a very good manager, clearly. Put some respect on his name now. Like and subscribe, thank you very much. Yeah, but that's that, thank you very much. It just does my head in seeing people not get Lampard the respect that he deserves, or just any manager in general that clearly deserves it. Absolute pleasure, love you all, and I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye, Lampshade, what a bloke.
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that, show us bit it.